So today I'm going to show you how to make a sigil. You're going to need a notebook, some pens, and spend a bit of time thinking about what intention you want to create. It's just been the dark moon and this is a perfect time for creating sigils. I'll sew them into my mojo bags, which I make every dark moon, which sets my intention for the month. I'll show you how to make a mojo bag in another blog. So when I am thinking about what sigil I want to create, I spend a bit of time meditating or sinking into what the intention is that I want to create. So for this dark moon, I imagined what I would like the world to be like once we get past all of this, what lessons I hope we learn and where I hope that leaves us in the future. And I thought about if we lived in a world where we decided to care more about the environment and look after each other more and slow down and enjoy the ride more, just take our finger off the button a little bit and just be a bit more present. And I thought, what would that world be like? And for me, it was a world full of love and compassion. So I'm going to create a sigil now. So the sentence I'm going to write is a loving and compassionate world. And then what you do is you go through and you cross out any letters that repeat. So A repeats, L repeats, O, V doesn't, and when a letter doesn't repeat, write it underneath and then you can see it. Okay, so these are the letters that I've got left: V, G, C, M, P, T, E, W and R. So now I'm going to hide those in a circle. It's not the only way to do it. There are other ways to create a sigil, but this is the way that I was taught by Lisa Lister in her book Witch, and this is the way I do it. So now I'm going to spend a bit of time. First of all, draw a circle, and then I'm going to try and hide all of those letters in that circle. That was my first go at it, but that's too messy. Like, I prefer it to be a bit more subtle than that. So I then had another go and I came up with this, and this was better. So then I drew it out again neatly. So you can see it has the V, it has the G, the C, M, P, T is a small t, but there's a T, E, again, slightly cheating, but there's an E, W, and then an R. And that, I think, is quite a snazzy looking sigil. I like that one. The E and the T just about work, but you can kind of get away with it. You know what it means and it's your intention. Just before the quarantine, the lockdown, I'd found this in a second-hand shop, and it's an address book, and I used to love address books, but obviously we don't use them anymore because of mobile phones. And so I'm going to start using this address book for keeping my sigils in, so that I have them in alphabetical order, because I normally write them in my journal, which I call a mirror book. So you have your book of shadows, which is the book that you keep all your spells and ceremonies documented in, and then you have your journal, which is where you kind of reflect on yourself in, and this is called a mirror book. And I like this because I tend to write my journaling in the evening, and you know, there's the thing of doing morning pages, if anyone's ever done The Artist's Way, which is a brilliant book and a really good time to be doing The Artist's Way right now. The Artist's Way says to do morning pages where you kind of just drain your brain at the beginning of each day, whereas I like to reflect on what's happened and kind of write it more in a kind of Samuel Pepys type way, where I hope someone will find it in the future and it will be useful to them. So mine's more of a reflection, so I call it my mirror book. Normally my sigils are written in my mirror book, but it means I have to flick through to find them. So that's why I've decided to buy an address book where I can put them in alphabetical order and begin putting them in there. I haven't actually written them in yet. I'm going to start doing that. Oh, I've got one or two in there. There you can see Book of Sigils, and this sigil here is the same one that's on my hand, and this is the sigil for the Hedgesark Coven. So it's also at the front of our Book of Shadows. So that sigil means Hedgesark Coven, and I love it because it's like a visible secret that people notice, but they don't know what it is, but they can kind of tell that it means something. And it's like, so I have lots of sigils that I use around the place. First of all, putting them in mojo bags. So each month, as my intention, I'll put them in the bag and sew that into a piece of clothing. And then also I use it as a way of creating spells around the house. I've got one behind the bed to support my relationship with my husband. And yeah, you can just kind of write them and hide them in places. I have here a little purse that I got from Georgia, which is a beautiful country in the former USSR. It's like down the south between Turkey and Kazakhstan and Armenia, and like it's sort of the gateway between the Muslim and the Christian world. It's a really amazing place full of magic, and I got this from there. And in here I keep all my sigils, so I'll show you the ones that I've got. So this one is clear, confident, concise and compassionate communication, which I really like because it looks nice and clear. And I write on the back what they mean so that I don't forget. That one is full appreciation, love and abundance. This one is my lovely snail. So the bear is my totem animal. I'm a bear, but the snail is my life lesson totem animal, which is to slow down, and that's what this sigil means. And this one is protection against patriarchy and persecution. Yeah, I like this new one. I'm going to put this in my sigil book. So this is a loving and compassionate world. I think that's a lovely one. So when you've written out your sigils, yeah, you sew them into a mojo bag or place them around the house, use them as spells. But they're a really wonderful thing to do and a nice little thing to be learning to do at the moment. So I hope you enjoy.